Welcome back, everybody. It's been some time since I last uploaded a video. I was taking a break and I was trying to figure out how this channel will be proceeding forwards. I'm not going to be talking too much about it. If you want to know more about the channel and how it's going to be going forward, you can check out the pinned comment down below where I explain this in much more detail. But today we're going to be starting a new project that we're going to be learning JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Those are the main front-end development languages. And I find it that always projects are the best way of learning. I did not see much more of an improvement in my development and program skills until I started just doing projects from YouTube videos, projects from my own. So projects I think are the best way to really improve in a quick time period. So we're going to be starting the new project. And one thing I want to say about this project and its structure is I'm not going to be really uh, doing something for intermediate or advanced or beginners. What I mean is, if you're a beginner, you could watch this. If you're an advanced, you can watch this. You might gain something out of it. But I'm not going to be going too beginner on it. What I mean by that is I'm going to be teaching you how to structure JavaScript code, what are the best ways of coding, best practices, how to like paradigms of like developing HTML, CSS, how to make them both work together well. I'm going to be adding some advanced tips and tricks. I'm going to be assuming in general that you want to learn, and I find it's best that you people learn when it's not just about beginner syntax, but actually how the code works and detailed instructions. So that's how the code, that's how the overall project in this series is going to be going. So yeah, without further ado, let's start today with setting up our projects, right? So here you can see that I'm on the terminal. I can pull this up here. You can in VS Code, but I'm actually in VS Code. You can see here, and in VS Code, you can actually just put the terminal all the way here. Rarely you use that, but I'm just gonna do this just to give more focus on the creation system here. Now, it's very easy thing, right? To start an HTML, CSS, JavaScript project. By the way, we're going to be using vanilla for everything. We're not going to be using any libraries, any other frameworks like React. We're not even going to be using like CSS additionals like Sass or even Tailwind. I believe that the best way to learn a programming language or a coding language in this case, since HTML and CSS are really programming languages, but that's another topic. The best way to learn them, I think, is to start from the bare bones and not just add stuff like libraries and frameworks from the get-go. I want you to know the basic syntax and to master them before going over to other additional libraries and frameworks and stuff like that. So let's start, right? So we're gonna be needing a folder, right? We're gonna be needing a folder to house every bit of code that we have. Great. So now, if you don't really have any experience with the terminal, this is going to be a quick run through of PowerShell in Windows. If you are running currently on Mac OS, you might have the terminal. If you're running on Linux, again, you're probably running a terminal. And the syntax or the commands might just differ from PowerShell. Uh, but I'm going to be trying to explain them uh, as detailed as possible. First of all, to get PowerShell running on your VS Code, you need to create a new instance. Now there are so many ways of doing this. You can go to View, and I believe it is Terminal right here, or the shortcut is Control tilde. That is the tilde key that you can see here, you can most of the time find it around the top left here. For me, it's just under the escape uh, keyboard button here. So we're just going to be opening and closing our terminal using this shortcuts. Now, the terminal is a way of interacting with your system, with your PC, without actually using your mouse. That's the basic use of the terminal. And I know you came into this video expecting to be learning JavaScript, HTML, CSS from the get-go, but as I told you, this is a bit of a different structure. We're going to be going through everything you need to become a master front-end developer. So I'm going to be focusing on so many different aspects here, and the terminal is one of them. To become a developer, a programmer, you need to understand the terminal. That's period. That's undebatable. So, like, it is a very wide topic, but I'm just going to be running through the simple stuff that you will going to be using here. So, ls, okay? So that's the first thing I want to show you. Now, when you type ls and enter, here you see the current folders that are in your current folder here, right? So your current directory is shown here on the left side. I'm currently on the E partition, null and projects, right? So this is my directory. If I click ls here, you can see this showing up. Now, ls is the default for most of the terminals, but I believe that dir is common for if you're using Windows command prompt. So that also works here in PowerShell, but it probably might not work for Linux and Mac users. Let's just clear this right now. Now, from this, you can actually see the clear here. If I go ls, you can see to clear the terminal. Since we don't really want there to be clutter, we can just type clear, or another shortcut is CLS. Now, CLS is the default for command prompt again. I believe clear is the only one that works for Linux systems. I'm not sure for Mac. You can just try it out. But we're going to be sticking with clear for the rest of this project. Great. So now we need to start by creating a folder to house our projects. I'm going to start by doing mkdir. Now, this is a very simple abbreviation. It is just make. You can see it's make directory. So we just abbreviated that to be mk, make dir, directory. Okay, so make directory is followed by the name of the directory you want to create. So what's the name of the directory you want to create? You want to create probably something like astrology sign. Now, I believe I did not tell you this. Like, it should be on the description somewhere, or maybe even in the title of this video. But we're going to be creating an astrology sign calculator. I know that I've talked so much about being more than a beginner course, and I'm introducing something that's very beginner and simple to make, but we're going to be getting so much complexity and so much knowledge out of creating this simple projects. But we're not going to be creating it as YouTube defaults like a YouTube tutorial. It's going to be made in a way that is production ready, scalable, and we're going to be going into very advanced stuff here. So mkdir astrology sign. Now, if I click ls here, type it and click enter here, you can see right here that I have a new folder. Great. So how do we actually move into that folder? Because currently we're just on the projects folder. So if we want to move to that, we want to say cd again, it's an abbreviation. It is change directory, right? So I'm not going to rewrite that again. cd, change directory. So change into astrology side. Great. So you have to know cd. It's the one of the most important commands, like, period. So if you want to learn how to use cd, that will also help you in your overall programming, right? So for example, in HTML, you should be able to enter images, right? So for that, you use the directory system here, where dots indicates the current directory. So if I go cd dot, it means cd into the current directory, which isn't really going to be changing anything because we are changing from the current directory to the current directory. But if I go cd dot dot, you can see we are going one outside. So dot dot means outside of the current directory. So let's go back here. Now, if I go cd dot 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 dot, that means if I use a slash, a forward slash separator here, what that basically means is that we are going to be doing two cd commands, right? So now we are going back to the null folder. We are out of the project and astrology. Now, what we did was basically go to again the reverse, right? So if we want to go to the projects, we can go to the projects and then we can go to astrology side, right? And we can exit by saying cd out, again cd out, but that's very slow. So we can actually chain these commands. So this means cd projects, then from the projects go to astrology side, right? And cd out means you go out not one step at a time but together. You can chain this however long you want. It doesn't matter as long as the directory you are getting out of does exist. For example, we're on the astrology side. If I go ls, we can see nothing because we don't have any subfolders here. If I go like src, you can see cannot find path here because it does not exist. So as long as you are going to a path that does exist, you're not going to be facing this error. So let's just clear this and we have our actual folder here. Now, it would be much easier if we could code period. Now, currently, I don't really have any folders open in VS Code. So the best way of actually working is to open the whole folder, or if you go here, I think it's open folder here. You can do it like this, but again, just get in the habit of using the terminal. So we're just gonna go code period. So code period or code full stop. Let's just get this AI out of the way. We don't really use AI in this channel. So by just doing that, we opened this astrology sign folder in VS Code. Now notice that it is not showing no folder opened. It's actually showing this astrology sign. And notice that if we actually open the terminal, control tilde again, you can see it is loading initially into the astrology side. Okay, great. We have learned so much about the command line, but one thing I forgot actually, which you might be frustrated with, since I didn't really say this at the start, is you can change your partitions from, for example, I have a C partition, so I can do this, right? Change it to C is C colon. Change it back to E is E colon. So again, C, E colon, right? We are changing or switching our partitions. So I should have probably told you that on the beginning since it's very important. Sorry for not doing that. Hopefully you are more acquainted with it currently. So now we can create our project on this folder. Great. So I think we're hitting around the 14 minutes mark on this video. We learned about terminals and I told you, I believe, a bit about how this project is going to be going. So hopefully you got a better idea of that, and hopefully you got a better understanding of how the terminal works. And we're going to be continuing here the with the project in the next couple of videos. One thing before I finish, that which I forgot, is the touch command. Here we can create files using this plus icon. You can see it's new file, but I think you should be able to do it again from the terminal. For example, if you want to create an index.html file, it's index.html. So touch means just create index.html. Now touch is the default for both macOS and Linux, but I believe command prompt doesn't have The touch, I think it has the out, something. It has something like the out, like something like this. I don't quite remember the command, but honestly, I think you should be able to use the PowerShell and not. I would like you to go through this project using the PowerShell and not the command prompt. But if you are more familiar with the command prompt and you want to continue with it, feel free. I'm going to try to tell you all the variations as much as I can. Okay, if I click touch index.html, you can see touching index.html, and when we list all our directories, also this file shows up, and you can see from the sidebar it shows up here as well. Now, how to remove it, right? So let's just remove, or rm index.html. So we just removed it. Now if we make another folder here would be, just say, source, right? That should be opened up there. If you want to remove this, we can't say remove source. Actually, in PowerShell we can, but I don't think you can do it in Linux. I'm not sure. So let's recreate it. So let's clear this again. If you want to remove this, you better say remove dir source, right? So that's the proper way of doing it. Again, if you create the source, and if there are like an index.html here inside of the source, you cannot really just like go and say remove dir source. You get this prompt in PowerShell, and you can say yes or yes to all, and you're just confirming that I want to delete this folder even if it has some additional content inside of it. And if you're on Mac and if you're on Linux, I think it's a bit different. It's been some time since I worked on it, but I think it is remove dir, recursive force, I think rrf. You can search for it actually. I really encourage you to search for it. Then source, right? So recursive force basically means this rf, that it has sometimes one, sometimes two, I don't remember, but this is called a flag. It's telling this command to do something differently. In this case, it's saying that I don't care if there are additional files inside of the folder, delete it anyway. So again, uh it doesn't work, obviously, because one, the source folder does not exist, we already deleted it. But two, the recursive force flag does not occur in PowerShell. Instead, it is on Linux. Most Linux distros, I think Ubuntu, Arch, and macOS. Okay. But feel free just to search for stuff here. I'm not going to be telling you everything, not because I don't want to, but I think searching is a very powerful tool for any developer. And if you're able to search for what you want, and if you're able to uh, like find your answers from Google, not only AI, because if you're just using AI, you are replaceable and you won't be getting any good. So I encourage you for at least this series to stay away from AI and just search Google, go to Stack Overflow, go to Ubuntu Docs, go to I think there's a forum for Ubuntu which houses most of the Linux commands. Just search for any website and just experiment to find what works for you. And it might be annoying, it might be frustrating, but this is how you actually learn. So I think we've covered everything about the terminal. Again, sorry, since I didn't really structure this well, I don't think you'll see the results. The result. You'll see the reason in the comment why this is the actual video type, why I'm not really reading off of scripts or stuff like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's all for today. Next time, I'm going to be actually going to be setting up our project. Today we learned a bit about the terminal. It's very important and most beginners don't know it, but now you do, and now you are on your way to become a 10x super developer. Again, thanks for watching. Till next time. Goodbye.